Outer space seems like a cool place to explore, but unfortunately, we can't all be astronauts like Katy Perry. So I'm relying on video games, and more specifically shoot 'em ups, to understand what's happening among the stars. Space Invaders, the space shooter that started them all. The basic premise of this arcade game is that you're a green block on a mission to eliminate some jellyfish and shrimp. There's really not much else to say. I mean, it was only one of the most revolutionary games of the 70s. Space Invaders 95 took the series in a slightly different direction. Oh, would you take a look at that? I think I saw one of these guys in my nightmares before. And something tells me I'll be seeing them again. You may be wondering, what exactly is happening right now? And that's a great question. I wondered the same thing too, but I stopped trying to understand once I got into a fight with a herd of pigs while some roasted pork danced in the background. Space Invaders 95 has multiple playable characters to choose from. You can be a spaceship, a dog, or a literal piece of crap in a toilet if you so desire. I'm sure this message has some significance, but my mind isn't capable of comprehending it yet. You may have noticed that the game takes a departure from the cosmos, but I still count it as a space shooter because, first of all, it literally has space in the name, and secondly, a couple of the levels have cosmic theming. The wackiness allows for more complex level design than the original Space Invaders had. The enemies are no longer required to line up and march in rows, so there's a lot more patterns to learn. Alright, but seriously, at this point I think I've seen enough of these guys' faces for one lifetime, so let's just cut to the end. As far as we are here, invaders are not fearful. Well, I'm glad I played through the entire game to see that. Next up, we have one of the most popular space shooters of all time, Galaga. In a very similar fashion to Space Invaders, you move around the bottom of the screen and shoot at rows of enemies, but unlike Space Invaders, Galaga has stages. If you clear enough normal levels, then you'll unlock a challenging stage, in which some defenseless aliens fly around and let you shoot at them. Wow, this is really challenging. But wait, what if it's called the challenging stage? Because it's intended to give you a moral dilemma. Maybe the challenge is deciding whether it's worth it to murder harmless aliens simply because they look like other aliens that have tried to hurt you in the past. And to think I just willingly murdered all these innocent creatures. Well, 47% of them anyway. Look, it's not my fault that my accuracy was so low. These games are hard, okay? Except for the levels that are called challenging. Those are pretty easy. And do you know what else is pretty easy? A space shooter by the name of Galaga. Galaga is a mobile game, so of course I went into it not expecting much, and that's about what I got. As you can tell, the game plays a little bit like Galaga, but this time, you can move wherever you want. Also, your spaceship is constantly firing ammunition at the aliens. I made it to level 8 before getting bored because the game was just so easy. I'm sure it starts to get really good once you reach level 870, but I wasn't willing to find out. I assume that there are plenty of in-game purchases, but somehow I managed to get through 8 levels without finding any. There was one time when I tried to upgrade my ship, but I wasn't able to because I didn't have enough cards. I have no idea what that means. Maybe the ship runs on credit cards? That would be a cool way to make some money off of kids who don't know any better. To top off this video, we have what is undoubtedly, from the opinion of somebody who hasn't played a ton of shoot 'em ups yet decided to make an entire video about them, the best type of space shooter. Gradius. Plenty of shoot 'em ups have taken inspiration from the Gradius series, and it's not hard to see why. The horizontal scrolling screen combined with the item system is just fun. Also, side note, this is a highly unfortunate head shape to have. Could you imagine if you were just born looking like you have the stupidest haircut of all time? No offense if you have this haircut, by the way, but you do have the stupidest haircut of all time. Back on the topic of Gradius, the environment design feels a lot more interesting than the other space shooters of its time. You're not just battling aliens in some random part of deep space. You're traveling through extraterrestrial planets, or whatever this place is supposed to be. Or whatever this place is supposed to be. Gradius might just be the toughest game I've talked about in this video. And what's worse, a game over means starting back at the first level. That's how you turn a 20-minute game into a 20-hour experience. And it's not a very fun 20 hours, I'll tell you that much. Luckily, the series got a little bit more lenient over time as game developers learned more about the concept of having fun. If you were to play a Gradius game nowadays, then you would probably want to try one of the later ones, such as Gradius the Interstellar Assault. This Game Boy title has a lot more to it than first meets the eye. When you start up the game, you're immediately thrown into a chase sequence. Maybe there's a story here, but I don't care to find out what it was because nobody cared enough to put it in the game. Not that it really matters because it's a shoot 'em up. It's cool enough that there are transitions between each of the levels. The Vic Viper, which by the way is the name of your spaceship, I just figured that would be a really great thing to know at the very end of the video, gets taken through the ruins of a cavernous planet, an asteroid belt, and other larger ships. The bosses also have more variety this time around. The only thing is that if they kill you, you lose all your items, which happens every time anything kills you, but it's especially bad during boss fights. I have a question for Konami. If I wasn't able to kill a boss when I had multiple speed boosts, missiles, lasers, options, because for some reason you called an item that, and a force field, then how exactly am I expected to kill one with just a tiny blaster? And also, when were you going to release that next Silent Hill Pachinko game? Because, you know, the remake's great and all, but honestly, I think what we really want is the Pachinkos. So there you have it. That's basically every space shooter that has ever been created, except for most of them. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.